Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Bizzy. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 579. It's Bizzy. I left the bubble. I left my house and I went to Austin for the weekend. And yesterday I was exhausted and I was like, I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to do that podcast. But the reality was I needed a break. I needed a good night's rest and to be able to get up today and talk to you guys. So here I am, and here we go. I want to talk about so many different things I noticed. For one, leaving the bubble. As a lot of you may know, I've been sitting in this house. I haven't done anything much. I've done a couple things. I've traveled a little bit. I went to go see a girlfriend in Charleston, and now I just went to go see my son in Austin to celebrate my birthday. I'm officially 57. And I got to Austin and it's so different there. I mean, I live in my bubble. I live in South Florida in a little town, Delray Beach, below Palm Beach, above Miami. And, it's kind of regular life here, right? It's still people riding their bikes, a lot of people riding golf carts, and it's not cars that are driving by themselves with no humans in them. I witnessed that. These Wavos are driving all over the place. They're these white Jaguars, and they have these huge things on the roof of the car, and then they have cameras all over the car because I guess that's how they see. And these cars are being driven by themselves. It feels kind of creepy. It feels really creepy when there was a power outage due to a fire in Austin. There was a huge fire down by the University of Texas, which of course, then they had to turn off all the power so things didn't catch on fire and there was more havoc to be had. So no lights are working. And these Wavos are like, they don't have no idea what to do. The lights aren't turning red, yellow, and green. The lights were totally off. So these Wavos are just sitting there stagnant, just spinning their wheels. Nothing's happening. They don't know what to do because they're not humans. That's the real thing. And somebody said to me, I don't think we need humans to drive cars. Well, I beg to differ. I think we need humans to be able to drive cars, and we need humans to be able to know when that there's a power outage and when the light isn't working. We don't just sit there stagnant. We look both ways. We continue because we know that the light is broken, and we take our turns rather than using a light. Wavos don't know that. They just don't. They have no idea that the light isn't working. And that means that you look both ways, but there's no human in there to look both ways to know, okay, now I can proceed. So we need humans there. And I think it's also really crazy how many people smoke weed everywhere these days. It's crazy. Weed is legalized in this country in a lot of cities. And I, for one, don't think it's a good idea. I think dumbing down our society as a whole is not like a great thing to do. I really just don't. It's so interesting in that I sat on the plane next to two young people, and one was from Venezuela and the other one was from Brazil. And I was talking to them about how this racism thing, because they're friends with everybody, right? That generation, the generation below me, my kids' generation, is this generation that loves everybody, right? They're all friends. And there's, even though society or the powers that be, whoever those are, the media and everything else want to say, oh, there's racism alive and well. And I'm like, I don't think that's really the case. And I will dive more into that. So just want to say welcome to the show today. And I hope you'll stick around and listen to my whole show, and just know this, you are not alone. And our heads make us question, is this right or is this wrong? And whatever works for you in your God-fearing soul, you will know. And what works for one might not work for another. And again, I hope you enjoyed today's show. So these cars, the robots in Austin, the cars that drive themselves, have made people's jobs obsolete. They are non-existent, right? So you're not going to have a delivery guy or somebody who might need to make extra money and go do DoorDash or go deliver your groceries. They're going to now let a robot do that. What's that going to do for the person who actually needs that job? They need extra money. They want to pick up some hours to work and make extra income. And now we're just going to let robots do it? We think that's okay? and the person that wants to be the cab driver. That's what people's jobs is. They like to drive. If you're a truck driver too, like what are they going to do? Give your job to a robot now? The person that's what they like to do. They like to get on the road. They like to drive across the country and deliver our goods all over the place. That person's job's going to be obsolete now because they've made a robot to do it. I think we have to wake up and realize, like when I was in Austin, I'm like, this is not cool. Like we need people that are going to drive cabs. And if you're an Uber driver, hopefully legally, and you have your driver's license and you go through the, necessary qualifications you need to be deemed a Uber driver or a Lyft driver, that needs to be a human. I don't think that needs to be a bunch of cameras that are on a car that has been run by a computer somewhere in the sky. My son also, to get into his building, he needs a cell phone. He needs to use his phone to get into his actual building. He needs to use his phone to get into his actual apartment. I said, "There's no keys?" He said, "No, there's no keys, Mom." I'm like, "What if there's a power outage? What if there's a horrible storm and knocks out like whatever? What if the actual satellites aren't working for some reason? What if something happens that is you never envisioned happening and your phone doesn't work? That means you can't get into your building. You have to scale the wall like Spider-Man, jump over your balcony wall, get in, and then pray that you didn't lock your balcony door. Is that what you have to do if there's a power outage? Like, does anybody think, but we're going to all become computerized and not using cash anymore? It's like everybody uses a card. It happens to me. I'm like, I use my phone to pay for everything now. And I understand the convenience of it. But what about paper money? I think paper money makes you think more. Like you literally are like, all right, I have $100 and now I have to go out and I have to spend it and I have to go and I count it. And you're like, oh, this is gone in 2 seconds. I just went into a store. More of us would be aware. But no, we put it on a credit card and God willing, you can pay it off at the end of the month. I know I can a lot of times. And then you bear these huge interest charges. And you think, oh, it's going to go away. I'll just eventually pay it off. And I've heard so many people, other podcasters talking about this and how they advertise for people that will help you with your credit and will help you with money. And the reality is, if you use cash, you know that it's gone. Like it's gone. It's no longer in your pile. It's been taken away. But we have been given this false sense of how much money we have because credit cards keep upping. I mean, I get letters all the time. I'm going to up your credit. I'm going to up your credit. You can get more, $20,000 more, whatever it is. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want any more false promises that everything is going to be like, I'm going to have all this money, which I really don't, because you gave me the credit. Along with that credit, because nothing is free in this world, along with that credit, I get this huge interest rate. And a lot of us don't even look at the fluctuating interest rates. I didn't till recently. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't carry it. It's like, it's a never ending pit. It's like the vacuum cleaning. You're never going to be done. You're never going to be done paying this credit off. It's terrible. Why have it if you can't pay it off? But we don't know that because we just use our phones. It's not, who cares? It's Amazon. I can just do it. They have my credit card in it. All I have to do is press pay. It's done. But the reality is it isn't done. Because you haven't paid it off. It's not done, you guys. It's like, unless you sit around and you know exactly how much you can spend and you're very disciplined, it's a terrible rat race. And for me, as an addict, like I think, oh, okay, I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy that. I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy that. And I'm like, no, time out. And for better or worse, I'm awake. I'm not doing this anymore. I am not in this whole world of like, I don't need simpler because I'm going to get into an Uber that's driven by a robot that's not there, that has cameras. I don't want to like have an apartment where I have to use my phone. I want a key that goes in the hole and you turn the key and it opens the door. What happens to the locksmiths, by the way, if we do all of these, we just use our phones? You don't need a locksmith anymore. They're totally obsolete now. Is that what we want? We don't want to have any more drivers. We don't need to have any delivery drivers on top of the regular driver. We don't need locksmiths because we're going to use our phone. We don't need cash because we're just going to have a digital imprint and the government's going to know exactly what we're doing everywhere we go. And we're just going to put it on credit and we're just going to continually go on credit. And I remember during the Biden administration, they were talking about like you were going to like go by your credit score like they do for cities. Cities have gradings. Like if a city pays back their bills on time or not, they have A, B, C, D, E, and F gradings. Isn't that how we are going to be as humans? Because we know, oh, your credit score means that you're an A person or you're an F person and everything in between. No, I don't think that's a good idea. But they're trying to sell us on this idea like it's convenient. It's convenient. It's like the convenience of smoking weed, like the convenience that you can go and pick up, weed wherever you want to. If you can go get a doctor's note that says, you know what, I'm not sleeping well. I need a dispensary card so I can get a legalized marijuana. Okay. I understand in cases of cancer and certain illnesses, it helps you. I understand that. It's medicinal. It helps you. It definitely does. I know it helps people sleep. It helps people with joint pain, marijuana I'm talking about. It helps you with just all sort of nausea. I could go on. It makes you want to eat more. That is great. But to do marijuana recreationally, like they did with alcohol, like, we're just going to make it okay. And you can do it anywhere. It's fine. It doesn't hurt you. It's regulated by the government. It's great. We can still smoke weed. But what it's doing, it's killing brain cells. Okay. It's killing brain cells. Yes, there are positives. When you're sick, it makes you have an appetite. That's wonderful. But to think that we're just going to smoke it so I can be like Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and it's all good, dude. Whatever. I want to be who I want to be. I can do what I want to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. I'm comfortable. I'm stoned. I feel good. I can drive my car. I'm not going to speed. I remember those days myself, driving the car stoned and going really, really slow and eating the Doritos. Oh my gosh. Terrible time of my life. Don't want to go back there. But it's legalized now. Everybody does it. Everybody eats these gummies. They're like, I'm going to have a gummy. I'm going to be fine. So we're medicating everybody. And we're thinking it's okay. And Austin, for sure, it's like crazy there. It's just like there's so many people that are fighting mental illness there. I'm sorry. If you live there and it's beautiful. I went on Lake Austin. It was fabulous. But thinking about the people that are walking around, the people that are like a boy and now they're dressing like a girl, and everybody's supposed to say, oh, you're a girl now because you're dressed like a girl, but you're not a girl because your DNA is a boy. It just doesn't change your DNA. I know we want to be able to do that too. Let's go and pick what DNA we're going to make our children. If they're born a girl and I really wish to have a boy, I'm going to convince this child, you know what? When you have those feelings, maybe even one thought like, I wish I were a boy. And the mom's going to go, you know what? I can help you with that. I'm going to co-sign your stuff. Let's make you a boy, even though you're a girl. Everything, you have breasts, you have a vagina, you're a girl, but we're going to make you a boy. We're going to give you medication. We're going to get you therapists. We're going to convince you that you are now a boy because that's what you feel like being, because you're not comfortable in that moment. But the reality is, where are the grown-ups to say, you know what? Guess what? Guess what? The reality is, you're a girl and you're uncomfortable. Everybody's uncomfortable at times. We all are. Feelings aren't facts, guys. Feelings aren't facts. Just to get it out there. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are constantly changing. If I went to every whim that I felt, which I do at times, by the way, I feel like a pinball in a pinball machine, bouncing off of everything. Here's this feeling. Here's that feeling. Where's God in any of that? It's going from a sense of like, I'm scared. I'm sad. I'm scared. We're all scared. But the Bible says numerous times, ad nauseum, you know what? Do not fear, for I have you. God has you. But we don't believe that. We go to church, but we don't believe that. We claim we're one religion or another. We claim that we believe in God, But when it comes down to really believing in God and going, I can't be scared. If I believe in God, I have to trust that He has me. That's what He says He does. But do any of us take it to that extent? I have to for my life because as I just mentioned, I like to go with my feelings sometimes and I bounce off of walls and it doesn't make me okay. So I've got to get back to the faith thing. I got to get back there. And you're like, how do you get back there? I say the rosary all the time. Today, actually, Tuesday this is the Blessed Mother Mary's rosary for the next 24 hours. I've already said one when I went walking. I'm showing you, if you're not watching on YouTube, an orange, beautiful rosary that I picked up in Medjugorje. And I walked and I said it. I had it in my hands and I went and I walked for about 45 minutes. And I said the rosary and I let go. And that's how I get into faith. But if I sit here and spiral in my head, like a lot of us do at times, we don't have any answers there. Then we're just going from this, like this thing inside of us. Sometimes it's dark and sometimes it's light. But feelings that we want to change our gender or that we want to change who we are, why don't we just figure out what it is we want to change and focus that one thing? So it's like we can't change who we are. That's just reality. Yes, you can go to the doctor and they're going to give you drugs and they're going to make you think you're something else, but you're not. So that's going to be, one day it's going to come back and it's going to bite you in the butt and you're going to be like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Why didn't I just really get to the core of what's going on with me? Why didn't I just take the time to maybe just get quiet? For me, getting quiet has been the biggest blessing in my entire life. And it's so ironic because I was on the plane and I was sitting next to these two young people, as I mentioned earlier, and we were talking about how getting quiet is so important by not falling into society's woes and going, oh my gosh, you know what? They're all smoking weed. I got to smoke weed. No, you don't. But anyway, long story short is that do we want do we want computers to take over our humanness? And I think the answer is no. So I talked to them about that. And then we talked about racism, which is so interesting to be talking about with strangers. I loved it. It was so awesome because I went to college in Washington, D.C. in the late 80s, 90s. And, I went to an all women's college. And when I went to the cafeteria, you would notice the people that were sitting next to each other. And my college was very international. So there were people from all over the world. And when I went into the cafeteria, you would notice that the people that were, let's say, Latino, they'd all be in one area together. Then you'd see the African Americans, the Black people, they would be all together over here. Then you might see girls that are Jewish that are all together over here. They might keep kosher. And so that's what they did over there. And then the crazy wild girls that were in another corner. And what I realized from that, it's like there wasn't really so much racism as there is people want to be with people they like and they have commonality with. People that grew up similarly, people that grew up knowing that, they went to church or they went to synagogue or they went to a mosque. That was like where they wanted to be with those people because they had similar beliefs, similar morals, similar stories to share with each other. And they felt comfortable there. And that's how people navigate this world, where we feel comfortable. Now, where I might feel comfortable and where you feel comfortable might be different. It's the biggest thing that I found in 12-step meetings. And I've said this before on the podcast. And if this is the first time you're hearing it or the 30th time you're hearing it, you're probably going to agree still, I hope. And that was the first place I went in my life where everybody was together. It didn't matter if you were Jewish, if you were Hindu. The one common thing in a 12-step meeting is that we're all there to get sober. But we're there actually to support each other. We're there to share our experience, strength, and hope. We're there to let people know that they're not alone. And that's what I love so much about 12-step meetings, because there wasn't that like in my college cafeteria where people were sitting there. The people that were amongst each other stayed with each other. And I don't think that it's racism. I think it's just comfort. And I think so much has been lost to feeling like paying attention to how humans actually feel. Like people want to be with like-minded people, right? I mean, there's a diversity in our country right now that I feel like there's no common goal. There's no common thread that we can all bind together with. It would be nice if it was back in the 70s and 80s where people were like, I'm just proud to be an American. Everything else I don't know much about, but I'm proud to be an American. And I respect that you vote your way, but we're still having you over to the cocktail party or the dinner party. It didn't matter. But the divisiveness is so big because of the media. It wants to pull us apart. It wants there to be a divide in the middle of the country. I swear, I think they want a civil war. I think from after going and seeing what I saw in Texas, it's like in Austin, which is different than a lot of other Texas, is that there's this divisiveness. There's this like, okay, we want to get rid of humans. We don't think your jobs are important anymore. You don't need to drive a car. You don't need to have a key in your pocket. Just give it to a computer. You're obsolete. And we shouldn't be dumbed down by smoking the weed and going, oh my gosh, I'm just going to be stoned and now I feel comfortable. No, I think we need to wake up. It's time to wake up and watch what's going on around us and go, time out, time out. The lights are on. I see everything now. I see this city that's becoming what they want to make other cities. There's no need for humans anymore. We're obsolete. Well, we got to wake up, you guys, because it's happening. It is happening. And either we're going to speak up as a society and say enough. We need to keep our jobs. We find importance in watching our fellow humans working at whatever job they feel like they're going to excel at. And they don't need to be replaced by a computer. I don't like calling somewhere like AT&T and constantly getting computer prompted. You don't even get to talk to a human being. You press 1, you press 1, you press 1, you press 0. What's your number? I mean, the whole thing just is awful. I want somebody to say to me on the phone, this is what you did wrong. I mean, you can't even call Amazon. You have to find the phone number. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Who's got the time to do that? Nobody. It's too much. We have to start speaking, you guys. It's enough. I mean, enough. I'm on a rant today, as you guys can hear. We need to wake up. We need to start talking to our politicians. We need to start talking to each other. We need to come together and go, okay, maybe you liked this and you like that, but do we want computers taking over every job? Do we want that? Do we? Maybe we can come together on that. What do you think? You might not all like America, but maybe you like being a human and you don't want to see your job go to a computer. So maybe we can come together on that. What do you guys think? Kind of an idea. So what do you think when you leave your comfort zone? How does that feel? Will you share your story with me? I'd love to hear it. Email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And just know this, you are not alone. I thank you for listening. I hope you will subscribe to my podcast. And I'm putting together, I'm so excited, a coaching plan. So if you're out there and you feel like, I don't know how to do any of this, how do I speak for myself? How do I get off weed? How do I get off alcohol? What do I do? I have a coaching plan for you. It's going to be rolled out in the next couple of weeks. And I just hope you'll stay tuned. And I want to thank you for listening. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. And again, I'll be back on Thursday with Peyton McNabb. I'm so excited. If you have any questions for her, by the way, reach out to me, elizabeth@elizabethchance.com, and I will ask her. So please reach out with questions for Peyton. I'm sure she will answer them. And she's a doll. I met her in person last year and she's just a doll. And I'm thrilled to have her on the show. So take care, everybody. It's Elizabeth Chance. Thanks for listening to this Bizzy, and I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Bye. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching me on YouTube, press subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.